Types of sentences are so confusing. How to identify a complex sentence from a compound sentence, and how to differentiate between a dependent clause and an independent clause, and what are these types of conjunctions. Do you also feel confused? Then watch this video to find out more. Hello thinkers, and welcome to Soch Academy. Today we are going to learn about types of sentences based on their structure. So let's get started. In this video, we are going to learn about how to form a sentence, independent clauses, dependent clauses, types of sentences, simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences, and questions. How to form a sentence. A sentence has four major parts: a capital letter, subject, verb, and punctuation. Now let us have a look at independent clauses. A sentence is also known as an independent clause because it contains one or more complete thoughts or ideas. For example, I go to school. In this sentence, the subject is I, verb is go, and to school is adverbial. The elements of a sentence are subject, verb, object, complement, and adverbial. So, coming back to how to form a sentence and what is an independent clause. If a sentence has a subject and a verb and it conveys a meaningful idea or a complete thought, then we can call it as an independent clause or a meaningful sentence. We cannot form a sentence without a subject or a verb, but only having a subject or a verb is not sufficient. We also need to form a sentence in a way that it conveys a meaningful idea. A dependent clause is not a sentence because it does not contain a full thought. It is used to support a main idea. For example, when I think about my life. Now in this clause also we have a subject I, verb think, and adverbial about my life. But think about it. When I think about my life, does it make any sense on its own? No. That is why we cannot call it a sentence. So it is a dependent clause because it does not contain a meaningful idea. It needs another sentence or another clause to support its idea and to form a meaningful thought. Coming back to how to form a sentence, now you know that we also need a capital letter, subject, verb, and punctuation to form a sentence. But along with that, we also need to make sure that it conveys a meaningful idea, and then only it can be called as an independent clause or a sentence. And if it does not convey a meaningful idea or a thought, then it is called a dependent clause. So if this basic concept is clear, let's get to the types of sentences. There are three main types of sentences based on structure: simple sentence, compound sentence, and complex sentence. Let's dive into each one of them. What is a simple sentence? Simple sentences contain only one main thought or idea. For example, I play table tennis. In this sentence, the subject is I, play is the verb, and table tennis is the object. So it forms a sentence structure S plus V plus O, which means subject plus verb plus object. For your understanding, I have marked all the verbs in this presentation in red color so that you can identify them easily. Now in this sentence, you can see that it conveys a meaningful thought. It has a subject, it has a verb. That is why it is a simple sentence. Give me some examples of simple sentences and write them in the comment sections down below. Simple questions ask only about one main action, idea, or thought. For example, did you enjoy the movie last night? Now in this sentence, you is the subject, verb is enjoy, and the movie is object. Alright, so this is a question, but it also has a subject, verb, and object, and it is a meaningful question. That is why it is called a simple question. Now you can notice that in simple sentence and in simple questions, we only have one verb. Compound sentences contain two independent clauses joined together with a coordinating conjunction, in bracket fan voice. For example, our car broke down, so we took a taxi home. Now in this sentence, we have two independent clauses, which is our car broke down is the first independent clause and we took a taxi is the second independent clause. We also have a conjunction so. So this conjunction so joins these two independent clauses together. Our car is the subject, broke down is the verb, we is the subject, took is the verb, and a taxi is the object. So you can see that there are two independent clauses joined by a conjunction. Compound questions are also similar. They contain two independent clauses joined together with a coordinating conjunction. For example, would you rather eat a sandwich or go to get groceries? Would you rather? In this, you is the subject, eat is the verb, a sandwich is the object, or is the conjunction, go to get groceries. Go to get is the verb and groceries is the object. So you can see the difference easily between a simple sentence and a compound sentence, or a simple question and a compound question. In simple sentence there is only one verb, and in compound sentence there are two verbs, which means that there are two independent clauses joined by a conjunction. What are coordinating conjunctions? Coordinating conjunctions means the conjunctions which join two independent clauses. Now there is a list of coordinating conjunctions in English. There are only 6 coordinating conjunctions which you can easily remember by the acronym FANBOYS. F stands for, A and, N nor, B but, O or, Y yet, and S so. So these are the only coordinating conjunctions in English. If you learn them properly, then you can easily identify them. And if there is a sentence, for example, we can go back to compound sentence and see if there is a sentence which contains any one of these FANBOYS conjunction and it has only 2 clauses, then we can call it as a compound sentence. Alright, if this is clear, let's go to complex sentence. Complex sentences contain one independent clause and one dependent clause joined together with a subordinating conjunction. Now this is where the confusion begins, but hold on, I will break it down into very simple terms, and by the end of this video you will be easily able to identify them. For example, we were late to the party because we couldn't get a taxi. Now you can see that there are 2 sentences or clauses in this particular sentence. We were late to the party is clause number 1, and because we couldn't get a taxi is clause number 2. S is subject is we, were is verb, late is the complement, to the party is the adverbial, because is the subordinating conjunction, we is again subject, couldn't get verb, and a taxi is object. Similarly, for complex questions contain one independent and one dependent clause joined together with a subordinating conjunction. For example, if you had a day off, what would you do to relax? Here also you can see there are 2 clauses. If you had a day off, in this had is the verb, you is the subject, and what is the conjunction? It is if. What would you do to relax? You is again the subject, do is the verb, and to relax. Now, this is very important. What is the difference between coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions? Subordinating conjunctions join together an independent clause with a dependent clause. That is why it is called subordinating, meaning that one clause is the main clause and another clause is the subordinating clause joined to the main clause by the subordinating conjunction. Now, how to identify whether a conjunction is a subordinating conjunction or not? Here is a list of common subordinating conjunctions, which includes after, although, as if, as long as, because, before, despite, even if, even though, if, in order that, rather than, since, so that, though, unless, until, when, where, whereas, whether, and while. So this is a long list, but some of the common conjunctions I have mentioned. But if you learn the FANBOYS conjunctions properly, then all the remaining other conjunctions are subordinating conjunctions. Easy? Alright. Now let's have an overview of types of sentences, and I will break it down into simple terms and solve each one of your confusion. So let's get started with a simple sentence. It contains only one independent clause. But a compound sentence contains two independent clauses. A complex sentence contains one independent clause and one dependent clause. Now, how to identify this? How many clauses are there in every sentence? So you just only have to look at the verb. If the sentence contains only one subject and one verb, it means that it has only one clause. Now you have to see whether that clause is an independent or dependent clause. So if it doesn't have any conjunction and it conveys a meaningful thought, then it is a independent clause, which also forms a simple sentence. But if the sentence contains two main verbs, it means that it has two clauses. Now, how to identify whether this clause is independent or dependent? You have to see whether that clause conveys a meaning on its own. If yes, then it is an independent clause. If it does not convey any meaning on its own, then it is an dependent clause. But there is another easy way to identify this. And complex sentence also contains two verbs, but it has one independent and dependent clause. So if it has two verbs, then it means that it has two clauses. Now this is where the confusion lies, right? Both the compound sentence and complex sentence have two verbs, meaning that they have two clauses. Now we have to identify whether those two clauses are independent or dependent. But another easy way to identify is by looking at the conjunction. Yes, simple sentence does not have any conjunction. It may have preposition and phrases, but it never has a conjunction. So if there is no conjunction and only one word, it is a simple sentence. If the sentences are joined by coordinating conjunctions, and coordinating conjunctions are the fanboys conjunction. So if there is any conjunction from the fanboys, it is a compound sentence because it has two independent clauses joined by the fanboys or coordinating conjunction. Okay, coordinating conjunctions are always only used to join dependent clauses. And if it does not have a conjunction from the fanboys, it has some other conjunction, then that conjunction is most likely a subordinating conjunction. So if a sentence is joined by subordinating conjunction, then it is a complex sentence. Easy? Let's have a look at the example. I like pizza. Subject, verb, object. Subject I, like, verb, pizza, object. Compound sentence. I like pizza but I can't cook it at home. Subject I, like, verb, pizza, object. But is the conjunction. So but is a fanboys conjunction, be for but. And I can't cook it at home. S, I can't cook, verb, it, object, and at home, adverbial. So because there is a coordinating or fanboys conjunction but in this sentence, there are two verbs, which means that there are two clauses and both of them are independent clauses joined by the fanboys conjunction. Now complex sentence, I don't cook pizza at home because it takes a lot of time. Here also we have two verbs, don't cook and takes, so it means that there are two clauses. But look at the conjunction, it is because. Is because a fanboys conjunction? No, it is not. So it is a subordinating conjunction, which means that one of these clauses is independent clause and one of them is a dependent clause. So I don't cook pizza at home is the independent clause because it conveys a complete meaning, and because it takes a lot of time is an dependent clause because it conveys no meaning on its own. Think about it, because it takes a lot of time. For what? Right? So this is how you can identify a simple, compound and complex sentence from each other. Now it's your turn. Make your own sentence. I have given you the formula SVO for simple, SVO plus but, plus SVO for compound, and SVO plus because plus SVO for complex. So make sentences and write them in the comment sections down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and I am going to conduct a quiz on this topic in the next video. So study it thoroughly and we will meet in the next video. Thank you so much and bye.